Hey everyone, welcome to episode 85 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. I'm your host, Braydon.
And I'm Kyle.
Thanks for joining us. This week's podcast is sponsored by Pickleball Central, your one-stop shop for everything pickleball. They've got a massive inventory, a 30-day paddle return policy, a best practice guarantee, best practice, best price.
Best price guarantee.
I'm sure they follow best practices.
I was saying, it's your best practice to buy there.
That used to be a word I would say all the time in my regular career.
We use it at our job.
Yeah,
too.
It's just one of those automatic
like
ones.
standard operating procedure, best practices.
Yeah. Use the link in the description to get up to 10% off most items, including paddles, balls, and shoes. This is beyond paddles, right? Get balls, get discounts on everything. You shop Pickleball here, which is nice. It's not just paddles. All purchases help go to support the show. It's a win-win. So click the link, save some money, and gear up for your next match. So this week, weekly update, a little lower here. We want to say thank you, give everyone a discount for all those comments.
You see how many people actually watched till the end?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That was surprising.
Just talk about my weekend. I played a lot early this week, but not a bunch later. I know you played a ton, and then you got some personal. I feel like your account is turning into this health account, your Dink Smash Media.
I'm trying to balance it.
It's great, dude. Anyway, we'll talk some about that. 3-0-5-0. So we skipped last week. You've got it this week doing
mental game
stuff. Kyle's Corner. What do we got here?
A little bit of the new PPA prize structure, which is pretty exciting, actually, I think. Upcoming very large tournament that's coming here that I want to plug to get some more registrations because it's very cool. We one little drama thing that we missed last week just because we were slammed, and then that's basically it.
And then Paddle, Babble, and Gear. We're gonna talk Selkirk arrows that were released this week. Solase shoes.
Yeah, did you try yours yet?
I've been wearing them a bunch actually. So
we'll talk about that.
Yeah. This is a new up and coming, or just not. Well, just a new.
It's brand new.
Brand new brand.
It was a Kickstarter. She started it with a Kickstarter.
Oh, is that where it was? Wow. Good for her. So we'll talk about those and then upcoming paddles that I'll be testing. So I have, how many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 paddles in this list of paddles I'm going to be testing here over the next month. These are all releases that are
July, right?
Today through the end of July / early August.
I've got half of these.
These are, there's just so many paddles
there
right now.
Is,
and I'm sure you'll get all of them
eventually. Yeah.
But so when we got back from China, I played a ton to catch up on paddles I had missed from that time period.
Oh, and there was a huge dump right after.
And then I was gone this last weekend, and I just got another huge dump on paddles. So there's just, this is like a good, people listening are going, you feel overwhelmed. You have to play all these paddles. But I do. I feel like there's a lot of paddles that I need to catch up on.
Well, see, I always feel bad because I'm like, I have all these paddles, and I'm like, I owe it to these people to try all the paddles, and I got to figure out a way to get them all hours on them.
Yeah. So
we need courts at our houses like Chris. That's what we need.
Even doing this full time, it's hard balancing playtime with working because every time I play, it's a half-hour drive, 2 hours play. Yep. It takes half the day,
and a lot of times you take the whole family with you. And it's an event.
It's a big event because when I need Malia to do paddle testing and hold the speed gun and stuff, and so it's playing eats into my computer time, and I need more of both. I thought I would have more time than I do working full time, but you just don't. Doesn't matter what your job is, you just never have enough time to do it all. But that's a good problem. Okay, weekly update. So at the end of our pod last week, it was an hour and a half.
Yeah,
we just off the cuff said, "Haha, this is really long. No one really cares. They're gonna watch through. If you watch through, comment." I'll throw you some tungsten or some overgrips. I cannot believe how many people commented.
It was almost like a clickbait for engagement. Like there was a lot of people that were.
There had been at least over 50, and I was floored. And I can't believe you guys all listened to us for that long.
I love it. See,
That's
what the heck?
I told you that was super cool. Well, whatever. Just roll with it. It went away.
It's a special effect.
Yeah.
Whoa, man. If it's going to keep doing that this whole episode, that is going to be horrible. No, stop it, Roadcaster. Stop it. No.
Hello? Whoa. Now I'm clean.
Did I fix it?
I think so.
I'm hoping I fixed it.
Oh, man. I guess we can leave that in there.
That was bizarre.
They could just skip through that part.
Didn't even know it did that.
That was weird. Well, we're good now.
Okay,
It's clean.
let's hope that was it.
I think that was it. It made a weird sound when you cleaned it up.
Oh my gosh. That was okay. Well, what were we even talking about? Okay.
Everybody watched till the end. We got tons of comments. We were floored by how many people actually watched the 1.5 hour podcast of 3 dudes talking.
Yeah, it was great. And so I can't send everyone tungsten, but I did want to say thank you to everyone who commented and listened to that episode. And so I'm doing a 30% off on my entire pickleballeffectshop.com. This is tungsten. This is overgrips, cap coins, just everything. 30% off everything. The code is I love Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle's getting some love. You save 30%.
Do I get a kickback on that or no?
You do.
Oh,
I
sweet.
pay you every month to be on this podcast.
True.
These are the new cap coins I
coins.
talked about last week. So we're launching with a 6 gram, 9 gram, and 12 gram. But these turned out great. They feel really premium, really cool, kind of like embossed.
They're very clean.
Or engraved, I guess.
Like it.
But we're launching with those 3 weights. No one's doing these on Amazon. And so I'm excited to see how these do on Amazon. But these are now available. We're exploring heavier options. We're just going to see how these do at first. But that just kind of completes the customization, options or things you need to get your paddle in a good place. So these, I got a few of these for you.
Sweet.
And then if you ever need more, let me know. But yeah, 30% off the entire website for the next 48 hours. Use the code I love Kyle.
Yeah.
All caps, lower caps, doesn't matter. Just go use it. I'll put the link in the description. So if you haven't been to my shop yet, it's pickleballeffectshop.com. It's separate from my review website. I'm going to keep it that way for a minute. But yeah, that's that. And then, best comment for that, because we had said, put in a summary,
Yeah.
Someone had said, I'm commenting or something, and then for their summary, they put long podcast.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
I was like, that
was a good one.
That was the best one. But yeah, there had been at least 50 or so comments.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It was amazing. So thank you, everyone. Okay. Last thing here is I played a bunch earlier this week, and then I was out of town this weekend again. I went to Utah with my 6-year-old Oakley. She says she wants to be a professional skateboarder.
Love it.
When she grows up. So we have a couple longboards and a skateboard. She learned how to push on a longboard and skateboard 3 months ago or so. And she just loves it. She has her bike and her longboard. We just go out a couple times every evening, just go push around, and she thinks
she's the coolest.
She's the coolest, and she wants to be a professional skateboarder now. So we saw at the X Games. We're in Salt Lake City, and that's the first time it's ever been there. I didn't know if it was ever going to be close again, so we said we got to go. So we went, and it was so fun. These people are like, X Games is one of those things where you're just floored when you watch it. Right? You watch this, and you're like, no, I can't even ride into the bowl, let alone do anything they're doing. I can barely push, So you're just so amazed by these people, and I couldn't believe how young, especially on the women's side. So the very first event we watched was I think it's called Park, where it has the bowls and everything. And so
Street. Was it street?
No, there's different. So there's street, which has the rails.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Park, which is the typical bowl.
Yeah. It's just like the transitions.
The transitions. Yeah. Yeah. You know skateboarding. I don't know anything about it. Anyways, we're watching, but the best girl in the world is 14 years old.
So
it was but the whole group of them was 14 to 20, 14 to 18, 16. Like that was the prime age for these girls, and they were incredible. And Oakley, we weren't pushing it. We're just like, she's interested in this. Let's just put her in front of it. Yeah. And a couple of times throughout, she's like, I want to go practice. I want to go home. I want to go try this. So that'll be fun. She's very coordinated, but she has very little interest in sports, traditional sports like soccer, basketball. She just never wants to play them.
She's going to be an extreme sport junkie.
But she loves, or she is interested in more extreme sports, which is fascinating. Cool. Like she loves going to the trampoline park. She's in gymnastics. She enjoys that. And she's gravitating to skateboarding now.
That's super cool.
We'll see what she does.
I watched a little bit of the X Games, and I was watching the vert, so the half pipe, and it was like little kid.
There's a 10-year-old. Yeah. He took third.
Yeah, I think that was who it was. And what's funny is when I was a kid, I remember watching Tony Hawk do the first 900. I remember watching it on TV and thought it was amazing.
They were still replaying that.
So
every 30 minutes.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's kind of fun. That kid did like three of them in his run. And I was just like,
10 years old from Japan, has this huge baby face.
Yeah. And he does 3 900s in his run. And I'm like, like Tony Hawk, like when Tony Hawk hit it, like everybody just stopped and
he-
swarmed the half
and he
pipe.
barely hit it.
No, exactly. And this kid hits 3 of them. It's amazing. I love it.
It was incredible. He was phenomenal. It was hilarious. They were doing that event while we were there, and so he would go. You're just amazed that this 10-year-old did this thing. And then the next guy's like this 30-year-old ugly, scruffy dude.
Looks like me. Getting spanked by 10-year-olds.
It was hilarious. Yeah. How would that feel?
No fear. Love it.
He was amazing. Can you imagine though, just the cartilage that this kid has? I mean, it's the perfect age,
well, they're
right?
flexible.
If you fall and get hurt, you don't really get hurt.
No, exactly.
Your body just regrows in 30 minutes.
100%.
Then you have some updates here.
Oh yeah, just like fitness update. I have been training for a marathon, so I decided to. It's funny, Chris Olson's like, "You're crazy." He's like, "You're losing all this weight, and I train for a marathon." He's like, "Is there anything you can't do?"
I also think you're crazy.
I was like, "Dude, I got a little bit of a screw loose when it comes to stuff like that."
You do. Once you get into something,
I just go.
You go.
Yeah, that's just how I am.
Right now, you're going.
I'm going. So got a marathon coming up in October. 2 or 3 years ago, I ran the half marathon at the same event.
Okay, so you've run a half.
Yeah,
before.
I've run a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like the longest you've ran is 3 miles before this.
No. I mean, I will say before I started losing weight, I was huffing and puffing walking up some stairs, and now I can go run 6 miles and go work out afterwards. So
what have you signed up for a marathon already?
Yep, signed up. The Boise Marathon in October.
Okay.
So
you run a half, but that's the
I run a
furthest
half,
you've
but that's
run.
the furthest. Yeah, the furthest I've ever run is a half marathon. So,
dude, that is amazing. I have so much respect for people who run marathons. So I ran one. It was probably 10 years ago now.
Oh, sick.
But my dad ran marathons growing up. He's run a couple Bostons.
Oh,
so
that's badass.
I'm pretty familiar with that world, and I just have mad respect for anyone that could do it. It takes so much time, so much discipline, so much control, self-control. Yeah. Because you have to run early, you have kids.
Yeah, no, I've been.
You have to go put in an hour in the morning before kids wake up.
100%.
And
before it gets hot.
Before it gets hot, and the mental toughness it takes to get up and tell yourself to go run 10 miles in that morning, like that, the month and a half, 2 months right before the marathon you're putting in so much time, so many miles, and anyone that runs a marathon, I think just says a lot about them. So I'm cheering you on, man, and I love that you're doing it.
And it's funny though, because you're like, your Instagram's kind of turning into like a health Instagram.
A little bit, yeah.
And I know, and I'm trying to like balance it. I'm like, are people going to like unfollow me because I'm posting a little bit less pickleball stuff? But I'm just like, I like shit. I get the comments of people, like a lot of pickleball people are like, hey man, I'm losing weight. You know, I'm watching you and like, it's making me want to take better care of myself. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to keep posting then.
Dude, it's so cool. Yeah. No, it's very meaningful. You're connecting with others. There's a lot of people that seem to be on a similar journey.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's been fun.
Super cool. Yeah, keep doing it, man. It's really impressive. But yeah, dude, I'm cheering you on. And
from the sideline.
I'm not gonna go run one. I've wanted to try to run another one to see what I can do. The one marathon I did do. Do
you remember your time?
Yeah, so it was 4 hours.
Oh, that's.
And what happened? Well, I was in great shape. I was feeling great, and then I got sick 2 days or like 3-4 days before.
Oh no!
And it just crushed me going into it. But I just sucked up and ran it. But I think I could have done a lot better, and I want to try again. But no, dude, it's amazing. Like marathon runners are incredible athletes. If you go to a Boston, every single person in the Boston Marathon are world-class athletes.
Well, yeah, because you have to qualify for that one.
Not just qualify, but insane stuff. You have to be sub 6:30 minute miles for an entire marathon to qualify for it. It drops every year because it gets more and more competitive. If you and I wanted to go compete or try to qualify right now,
no way.
There's no way.
Yeah.
We could never do it.
I'm hoping to run like 9:30 to 10:30 minute miles for the whole marathon. That's my goal.
Just running the whole thing is incredible.
I mean, I'm not a small guy, so
no, dude, it's that's amazing. That's fantastic. Okay, let's do 3-0 to 5-0. Brought to you by Holy. So this is an advanced electrolyte system built for pickleball players. Their 3-part hydration program is designed to help you hydrate faster, recover quicker, and play longer. The flavors are super good, and they use quality ingredients that actually work. So use code PBEffect at checkout and hit the link in the description to support the show and save while you're at it. This is Fruit Punch. I have 4 left. I'm gonna have to move on to I think orange is my next flavor.
Raspberry lemonade is my favorite, and I'm out. I need to restock.
Yeah, restock it, man. What was that? That may have been the flavor I was rocking because I ran out of my first
raspberry
bag.
lemonade is like the first one.
one was
Like
money.
it's my favorite one.
There's 3 new flavors: the fruit punch, the raspberry lemonade, and then the orange are all.
They're all good.
Super good. All right, dude, take it away.
All right, so we're going to talk today about the mental game and some work you can do on your mental game. So mental game is a huge part of pickleball. We see it. I mean, we see it in the pros all the time where people break down mentally. But as you want your game to progress, I have like a few things that everybody can go home and work on. A big one is setting goals, and not just like setting goals like I want to do this. I want like take out a notebook, set clear goals, and these goals could be like learning a two-handed backhand, hitting X% of third shot drops. Like be very specific, and then break these goals into the actions you're going to take to actually get them. So don't just set goals and be like, that's my goal. Like set actual actionable tasks that would achieve that. So
Actual actionable. That's good. It's a good tagline.
So I like two-handed backhand because this was one of my goals a long time ago was to learn a two-handed backhand. So it was like two-handed backhand. How am I going to do this? I'm going to hire an instructor who has a good two-handed backhand to teach me how to hit one properly. So then basically set it like instruction and get as specific as like, I'm going to get an instructor once a month for the next 3 months or every other week, and do that with any kind of goal. It doesn't have to be shot related. It could be fitness related, anything related to pickleball, but break it down and then set like a timeline as well. So like I want to learn this in 2 months. So then break it down, have your tasks you want to hit. And at 2 months, you reevaluate it. Did you hit your goal? What can you change? Because that's a big thing is evaluating how your plan is actually working. You might have got it, like you might have finished your goal within a month. So set new goals.
Mm-hmm. What are your goals right now?
Well, a lot of my goals right now are fitness related, and less pickleball, but all of that's still going to bleed into pickleball. So right now I am mainly focused on getting myself as physically fit as I can to aid in pickleball.
I want to time your baseline to kitchen.
We can do that.
And then let's time your shuffle from
Well,
the middle to the side.
It's funny you say that because I even here's like my runs from each week, and I always track it.
Boom.
And each week it gets faster.
Especially in running, this is so big to have a clear outline of your plan, how many miles you're going to add, and then keeping track of time.
Exactly. So I'm trying to apply that though to like every aspect of my life, not just pickleball, even work, life, stuff like that.
Big.
And also positive self-talk. Not just to you, but to your partner. I think this is huge. It's really easy to get in a funk and get negative, especially everybody goes out and has a terrible day of pickleball. Like it's unavoidable. Like some days you go out there and you're just like, mentally you're like, why am I even playing? I'm not getting better. You have to work on being positive. I mean, any day that you're not underground's a good day. So speak positively to yourself and to your partner.
By the way, do you have any examples? One example that comes to mind for positive self-talk, when I get into a little funk, maybe I miss a couple, I'll just tell myself, what are the next 2 shots I need to hit? Either big serve, good drop. I'll just say, okay, these are the 2 shots I need to hit, and just focus and put my mental space capacity towards those next 2 shots rather than thinking to the past or too far in the future. Just try to stay present, focus on what you need to do next. It's not, let's get a string of points. It's no, I need to hit this return deep.
Yes.
I need to hit this drop in. I need focusing on what you need to do to accomplish that first 1 or 2 hits. And that brings me into the present and helps me focus on that one shot rather than getting too far ahead of myself. I just know that staying present, focusing on one shot at a time is a big deal. Not getting too focused on what the score is, trying to jump up. Maybe you're down 5 points. You can't think, I need to score 2 this time. You just have to worry about the next shot. And that's helped me.
And that's all I got for that.
That's great. Let's go to Kyle's Corner.
Brought to you by Slice.
All right.
That's the coolest one.
This is the coolest one. So Slice is the weighted end cap I use and recommend all the time. Slice caps enhance your paddle's balance, boost power, and expand the sweet spot. They're 100% made in the U.S., and you can use the code PBEffect to save. Just hit the link in the description to check them out. Plus, they have these new versions that have interchangeable weights on the outside. So you only have to install. These things take a little work to install, but once you do, they feel very comfortable. And now you can change out the weight, to get it to the right balance that you want, that's the way to go. It costs a little bit more money to get the adjustable one, but it's worth it.
Another thing that's nice about that too is because some of those caps fit more than one paddle, is that when you take that over to a paddle, you're not stuck with the weight you had bought. You can actually change that weight. If say you went from an elongated to a hybrid and you wanted to change the weight you have on that butt cap.
Yep.
So love them. All right. So first I want to plug a very big tournament that is coming to the Flying Pickle, the National Junior Pickleball Tournament, which we watched last year a little bit of.
Has it been a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Already.
Yeah. I remember talking about that and how just floored we were, how many participants there were.
Yeah. So it is coming July 16th to the 19th for ages 8 to 18. Still open to registrants. So if you've got kids and you're roughly close to the Pacific Northwest or you want to travel to a very cool tournament, get signed up. You'll probably see us there because I'll definitely be there watching. Yeah. You'll probably see Elise Jones there because her kid's playing it. And
it's good to see this stuff grow because juniors competition in as far as player development is so big. That's well developed in other sports. You have junior leagues, local stuff for every sport, right? But that's just getting started now in pickleball. Do you know if this is independent or if this is a PPA thing?
So this is run by Courtney, who we met at the JOOLA event. That was her house. Oh, she is the founder of the National Junior Pickleball Tournament.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is an independent.
I think it's independent. I'm sure eventually it'll probably get eaten up by one of the big tours because I do think this is going to end up being a massive feeder into the tour.
Do you know how many events they do?
Ooh, I don't know how many they do a year. I'd have to Google it.
Anyways, this is a big
junior
big,
event. Yeah, it's big. It's well run. Lot of competition. There was a lot of good kids last year, so I'm assuming this year is going to be the same way. It's
great chance
really fun
to get some competition under your belt as a junior who's moving up in the ranks. So yeah, I love that.
So that's coming. Also want to give a shout out to the Flying Pickle about their franchises. They announced a bunch of new franchises.
So cool.
So they're going to Billings, Montana, Kennewick, Washington,
Post Falls,
Arizona. I forgot where in Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
Was it Goodyear? Goodyear, Arizona? Is that a place?
Maybe. That's also it's higher.
But no, huge shout out to them because it's cool. They started with the dream to just build one here and now it's blown up.
Dude, so the guy that owns it, Paul, he's so sharp, really knows his stuff, has built such an impressive facility, has found the playbook, knows how to make it work. I think some of the secret sauce to them is the scale of it.
Yeah.
They're not doing the 6 to 8 court approach. They're going bigger. This way you can hire, because it takes the same amount of employees to run an 18 court facility as it does a 6 court facility. And so you kind of have some scale there that you can work with, and because margins are pretty tight.
Oh yeah,
with places like this, and so you need a good business model that makes sense and works. And they found one, and it is it's premier. It feels great. Anyways, lots of good things.
As I said, a big thing I think is they took like the other approach of not skimping on anything.
Yeah.
So
everything feels good.
It's good. So shout out to them.
Anyways, yeah, really, really happy for them. They're super cool. We've told people if you want a franchise, hit us up. We'll get you in contact. If you're going to do it, these are the guys to do it with.
All right. A little bit of drama. We missed this last week, but Fed and Adidas voided his contract.
Dude.
We knew that was coming.
Did we though? I really thought they were going to figure it out.
It's hilarious to me though, that has to be the best like honestly, did JOOLA pay a bunch for him because they got so much free marketing out of him because he's back with JOOLA now.
Right.
And hopefully he's with JOOLA. Hopefully he gets his own paddle. He was playing with the Anna Bright paddle.
Yeah, he was back on the Scorpius, which I like to see.
Yeah, so we'll see if he gets his own, standard shape type paddle coming. Could be in the works. I would assume.
Do you think he replaces Collins' paddle?
I mean, they just take his name off and put Fed's and change the color.
Maybe.
I mean, I do think Fed draws more attention than Colin. So I could see that. That would hurt though to take away somebody's promo.
That would be tough from YOLA's spot because maybe they want to give Fed his own paddle. Of course, we all love Colin and he has great history in the sport, but he is on the kind of the decline
a little bit
ever since he's dropped partners with his brother, and so does it make as much sense to have his name on the paddle?
No, and then you don't want. Do you want 3 pros having the same shape of paddle?
It's. Just throw a signature on there. I don't know. I guess it's a new SKU. It's another paddle you have to stock, which stinks.
Yeah.
And so
don't
it's a kind of a pain in the butt.
I that is one thing about pickleball that I don't really like about the paddles is like these are their,
No.
It was good for so long. Did you fix it?
I don't even know what to do.
Did you fix it?
don't. Oh, there we go. Nope. Okay. Don't touch anything. We're almost done. Anyway, I think it's crazy how pro paddles in pickleball, some of them like they don't feel. I know they say that like the pros played like a huge part in creating them, but sometimes like with the Scorpius, like did Colin and Anna work together, or was that a paddle that was just created and their names were put on? Because it's the exact same shape, just a different thickness.
Yeah, I in that case, I think it just fit, right?
Yeah.
Anna was already playing the 14
Exactly.
in that shape. Let's throw her name on it. Colin wanted Colin needed to jump off the Perseus to get his name on a paddle. 100%. I don't know if that was part of the reasoning, but he's also a big advocate for wide body shape paddles, which I think is great. But yeah, they threw his name on there, and I don't know. That's it's probably some delicate ground that they have to tread there. But yeah, Fed going to back to JOOLA was just kind of comical.
So, and then lastly, we have a new prize structure for the PPA. So they opened like a early renegotiation period for contracts. They're obviously going to lower the contracts, what they're paying for the contract, but they have a huge prize structure. So you're actually going to make money for winning events. So if you are for the gold contract, which there's going to be a limited number of slots for this. So this is all going to be the top pros.
Well, before you dive into that, so what is the basic? There's a gold, silver,
there's
bronze.
Gold. It's like gold, standard, and then challenger.
So I'm a pro. I'm signing a contract with the PPA.
You're hoping to get
these
gold.
are just the three
tiers.
Buckets, tiers
basically.
that they could sign me as.
Yes.
There's no negotiation. It's just these are the three
for
tiers.
The prize structure. The contract's still going to be a negotiation.
Okay.
This is the prize structure per tournament.
Oh,
so you're actually going to win money at each tournament now.
So okay, continue.
Okay, so you're going to negotiate your contract for whatever they're going to pay you a year. You're going to have to attend X amount of events. All that stuff's still going to happen. But they're introducing a prize structure, so people actually want to win every event.
So for those who didn't know how it was structured before,
they were just getting paid with points, basically. You're getting paid your salary, and then there was like that, your points and all that. So you weren't making money every
tournament. There was
no
prize money?
No, not like each tournament.
The only people making prize money were those
they
who
were
didn't
getting like
have
appearance
salaries?
fees and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So now there's going to be, and it's big money. Like this is like, so the finals, gender doubles per team, $70,000 for gold. And then $20,000 for singles. And then
you said this is per player?
This is per team. Okay. So $70,000 per team. And then second place, $40,000, third place, $30,000. And then for PPA cups, because then you have your finals, your cups, and then your opens. Yeah. So then your cups, the winner of doubles is $56,000, second place $30,000, third place $18,000 per team. Mm-hmm. And then opens $38,000, 20, 12. And then I didn't see if they put out what the standard payouts are going to be yet, but it's obviously going to be lower, probably as much as half, because I know originally that's kind of what it was. Like if you were before the salaries and all that stuff, and once they started signing, it was like if you were signed, you got double. And if you weren't signed, you got like half the prize pool, something like that.
So those numbers you just read,
that was all for gold.
That was just for gold.
Just for gold.
If you signed in one of the lower tiers,
it's going to be less money. Yes. Less money's available to you.
Okay. So Braydon, I'm a pro. I go to the PPA. I sign. Like, Braydon, you're good, but you barely make it past the first round.
Yep.
I'm going to sign you as a challenger person.
Yep.
And then I have a maxed out money I can make prize wise. So even if I just have a day of my life, I beat everybody. Yes. I make less money. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think about that structure?
So I like it because now I feel like everybody's going to be playing way harder because there's a lot more money in the line. The point you bring up is a huge one that I also agree with. Like if I'm a nobody and I show up and I beat Ben Johns in an open, shouldn't I make the same amount of money for winning that tournament?
Yeah, I don't.
So I'm torn on that. Like I understand why they do what they do.
Well, I don't know. Why do they do the tiers?
Because it's all about they're trying to keep the players in their tour and their money. It's all because they're all trying to keep it.
They're trying to incentivize the
them
top
being
players
signed to PPA
so that they don't go somewhere else.
100%.
That's why they do that.
So it makes business sense. Yes, but like as far as like how I feel, I think if Joe Schmo off the street comes and takes first, he should get first place money.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's interesting. I would think the ideal scenario here is some sort of structure that does incentivize them wanting to win, like the prize pool.
Yes,
I think is great. But you also want to enable new blood, new talent, make sure there's a pathway forward for people to enter the space, make money. And this seems to maybe limit that a little bit, or maybe it's better than it was before.
It's still better. I think there's more money. There's way more money to be made overall.
So even as a lower end pro, I'm making
You're
more
still
money
making more money than you
with
would
this
have.
structure than I was before.
100%.
Okay, so
yes.
it is a bump up
Yeah.
there. Because before I signed.
Anybody winning at any level is now going to be making more money than they were.
Okay, so it's
yeah,
good all
it's
around.
still good.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, intuitively, that makes so much more sense than a salary-based approach if you want people to care, want to improve, train, which is what you want.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't see if they released like the money for MLP events, but that'll drastically increase the way people play MLP too. Like people will go out there and die for their team to make money. So
yeah,
it'll be a lot more. It'll be more fun, like the original season of MLP.
Money reigns.
And that is it for Kyle's Corner.
Thank you. Let's go to Paddle, Babble, and Gear, brought to you by ADV. So these are the makers of high-quality pickleball bags and accessories. They have things like grips and things too. I use their Backpack V2 that you see here. I've always recommended it to players who want something durable, organized, and built specifically for pickleball. If you're ready to upgrade your gear, check out the link in the description to go learn more, and you can use the code PBEffect to save. You had one of these.
I'm on the pro bag now.
You're on the pro bag.
Yeah.
Wow. Who did you give your V2 or trade it with? Who was it?
Chris Brown.
Chris. So
he was so excited.
He was.
He was so excited.
So Chris came up to me at the club the other day. Braydon, I got one. And I was like, oh, you did? He's like, yeah, I did the trade with Kyle. And he was telling me how he was using the Selkirk black box before. Now using this, loves all the extra pockets.
And it's
extra
just so much organized. Yeah.
So he was happy about the move. Yeah, if you need a bigger bag that's not over the top big, has lots of organization, this is a great option. I was actually never super into their pro.
To the pro, I like the pro. The only thing I don't love about the pro is where the shoes go. That's my only.
I can't remember.
They go in the top. Oh, so they have like their own pocket kind of here.
That actually sounds nice. Then stuff doesn't like fall into the bag when you take your shoes.
Oh,
out.
I guess that's true. I don't know.
Did I just change your mind?
I don't know. I still kind of liked, because now I feel like my sweaty shoes are on top versus when they were on the bottom. I don't know.
It's all the same.
But no, it's great. And it's got the big cooler in the bottom.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
pretty sweet.
Well, cool. Yeah, you can go learn more about that bag and the Backpack V2, and you can tell us which one's better. I'm a V2 guy. He's now a pro guy.
The clamshell opening's
He's the
cool
clamshell
too.
guy. Oh, that was one. I thought that made it tricky to access stuff.
Oh, but it holds so many more paddles.
It does.
Like
hold
you can
a lot
just
more
like
paddles.
load paddles in it.
You can.
If you're an ambassador for a paddle company, the pro bag would be the way to go.
That would be the way. Okay, that would make sense in that scenario. Okay, Paddle, Babble, and Gear. We're going to talk Selkirk eras, solo shoes, and then upcoming paddles. So eras. Hold these in my hand. They've come out with two shapes. They have a wide body and an elongated version. So these are built with the same or very similar internals as the 11624's powers, which a lot of people have been comparing them to. So it's a floating core with an extra strip of carbon fiber here on the side that helps keep the bond stronger between the polypropylene and the foam, so you have less break-in, more durability. And then also adds perimeter weighting, which is one of my favorite things about the 11624 powers and these ones is that they play so well out of the box. The swing weights are still manageable and on the lower side for their shapes, yet the twist weights are still big. The forgiveness, the sweet spots are still feel very big on these, and so I love that. The elongated version, this one and the 11624 are my favorite elongated paddles out of the box. I really like how they play. Don't really need any customization if you don't want to.
I was going to say that to me is the biggest draw, and I think Selkirk knows that like they have it so you can legitimately pull it out of the package and it plays great.
Right. But the swing weights are still low enough that if you do want to tinker, there is space for there. I think that's the magic spot to be in with any paddle, is to have it play either good enough or well out of the box with some room to tinker. The paddles that come out too light, you have like the Franklin C45s. When you tinker them, they play amazing, but they require some tinkering. And I think that takes out a chunk of the market that may like the paddle with some weight, but they just don't know how or don't know that you're supposed to do that.
They don't watch our podcast.
They don't watch our podcast. Yeah, I've mentioned this on Instagram and in my paddle blitz this morning that I actually prefer these over the 11.624s. I got some flack for that when I initially posted that.
You broke the internet.
I didn't break the internet, but I definitely got some flack for it. But my reasoning for it was these they're a little more offensive than the 11.624s, but you don't lose out the maneuverability. I don't feel any less control from these. And so there's that element. And then to me, they just carry through the ball a little bit better. Although the internals are very same, they have different they look identical in x-rays. The shapes are a little different, and I wonder if that's what's giving you a little different playability. But it's they just carry through the ball a little bit better. They don't get pushed around as much. Like these are lighter weight. With the 11.624s, there's some sense when you hit these side by side, 11.624, some sense of just getting pushed around a little bit by the ball because they're on the lighter side. I didn't get that with these. They carried through the ball a little bit better. The elongated is just a hair taller than the 11.624, and I wonder if that's what's carrying it through the ball a little bit better. And then, then that just has a little more offense, particularly with pop. It's a little bit jumpier, a little bit more on counters, and they just feel very complete, very solid, just a little bit more than the 11.624s. Plus, the warranty is longer in these. I think that's a big deal for the Gen 3 space, just because those are prone to break down quicker.
You are going to crush it.
Yeah, so these have 1 year warranty. 11.624s have a 6-month warranty, but these I don't think. Like I'm not saying the 11.624s are bad or anything. They're still super solid.
I don't think you can go wrong with either, honestly.
For the vast majority of players, you're not going to play any better or worse with either one. No. And it's more of just a price decision and warranty decision.
And just the looks.
Yeah. So these cost $200, have the 1 year warranty. Then the 11.624s are $160 after code. So it is $40 cheaper, which feels like it's enough. It's enough to consider like, oh, I'm just gonna go with one or the other. But yeah, price is definitely a factor. But that was my thoughts. I'm gonna go to a tournament. I'm gonna play with one of these over the 11.624s. However, if you're more super budget conscious, there's nothing wrong with going with the powers. And I think the only difference is just shape. Between the two, really, I couldn't tell any difference.
They play very similar. I mean, obviously the carbon could be a little different.
The carbon might be a little different. They both have a CFC surface, which is carbon fiber, fiberglass, carbon fiber, and so
this is a great paddle.
The handles do feel different. So the handles on this are a little bulkier.
I would say they're thicker,
compared to the 11.624. So that could be a factor. This one just has like a broader edge. The SLK has a broader edge on the side versus the power, which is more narrow here. And so these do feel a little thicker, a little bulkier compared. And that's just a preference thing. I'm not really a handle snob. Are you a handle snob?
A little bit.
A little snob. Which one did you like better?
The handles, and I actually liked those Selkirk handles, surprisingly. So
you did.
They were nice. I usually am a handle. There's a few handles that I hate. Thompson. Actually, Thompson redid their handle though. They never sent me new ones, but they redid their handle.
Yeah.
I'd love to hit them again with a new handle on it.
Yeah, these felt fine to me. There's not too many paddles I come across from like, oh, these are horrible.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can get too thin. I thought the carbon true foams were a bit too thin. The
Valera one was squishy. That was weird.
Yeah, that one was weird. But that was those are all edge cases. For the most part, I'm not too picky on grips. Last comment here is this is part of their budget line. So these are made in China. This isn't like the assembled made in the USA thing that they do. And that is also why it has the limited 1 year warranty. And I think that's why they did the Gen 3 in their SLK.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Is so that they don't.
They knew that they were going to
have some, there's going to be more durability challenges with those. So last question I have for you here is, I had some people comment that they felt like it was bad taste or bad form for a bigger brand with a huge R&D budget like Selkirk to go mimic the design of a smaller brand that's up and coming. Do you think that's part of the game, bad taste, or it's fine to do that?
Couple different opinions. One, I think everybody's copying everybody to some degree, and I just think the factories are driving a lot of this. Two, with how slow Selkirk is, we have no idea when they started designing that. So, it is hard to say they copied anybody because they could have been working on it for a long time because they're slower than everybody to release a paddle.
Yeah.
So that's a question. If they intentionally were just like, oh, that's a great paddle, let's copy that. Yeah, I think that's a little shady, but I don't know. Like, they're so big, I don't know if that was really the case. I would honestly bet it had more to do with like a factory type thing, and honestly, Selkirk probably could have started working on it way back when, and they just took forever to release it.
I know Selkirk does a lot of monitoring.
Oh, that is true.
Of different brands. Yeah. They have a regular system of buying paddles from tons of brands that they, I don't know, run through their specs or check.
Not just paddles. I'm not going to tell you where I heard this, but like somebody found somebody that from Selkirk that was buying just like regular items, like a paddle eraser, and like regularly. And I think they were just like timing different companies, like shipping speeds and stuff. And
maybe,
I'm just like, that's pretty good. Like
they do. They put quite a bit of time into that, I think.
They're playing some 3D chess.
Yeah. So I do know that they monitor that, and I would hedge my bet that they knew exactly how 11.624 built that, and they liked the durability aspects of it, of adding that extra piece around the frame. And of course, the 11.624 powers are a phenomenal paddle. They're very popular, and
they're still cheaper.
They're still cheaper, but they no doubt, I think they liked, maybe not no doubt, but my guess is they like the design, they like the durability aspect of the 11.624s, and used it in their paddle would be my guess. But do I think that's bad form to mimic or copy or add a little flair to somebody else's design? I think it's fair game. Honestly, I don't care if you're a small brand copying a big brand copying a small brand. Iteration is just so prevalent in the sport. JOOLA comes out with a Gen 3, the original Gen 3. Every single brand has either the same or some iteration of it. Yeah. And I didn't see anyone complain about that. And I think it's just because Selkirk's bigger and they like the design, potentially like the design of a smaller brand that they mimicked. And I don't think that's poor taste. They threw it in their shapes. I just think it's part of the game. It's just how things are. I made the tungsten ages ago. Tons of brands.
Well, that's true. You get copied all the time.
It's kind of just part of the game. And if anything, I think all these brands that have made tungsten has helped my tungsten because it brings more awareness to it. They share it with their audience. Maybe they do research. Maybe they find mine later. But I think it's validating that people are making their own versions. But you just kind of have to, when you're the first one, you still have the edge. Like, for example, 11.624 is coming out with a new power paddle next month. Yep. And so they're already ahead.
I'll be playing those on Wednesday.
Right. Like, okay, maybe Selkirk has the same model they made earlier in this year, but they've already moved on from this. They're iterating, they're creating their next paddle. Same thing with tungsten. People, they launch a 1 gram roll of tungsten, but I already have several variations. I've launched the tuning tape, and I'm still pushing it and progressing it forward and moving my product and adding stuff. And they're still playing catch up a little bit. And so maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I think it's fine. Yeah. I don't think it matters. If it's a good product, it's going to be copied
100%.
Or mimicked in some way. And I don't think that was bad taste by them. They recognized that was one of the better Gen 3 builds and
ran with it. And I mean, the last point, like when we talked to Babble a lot, these smaller brands still have an edge on the bigger brands at how fast they can turn around stuff. Yeah. So the littler guys can still win.
Yeah, I agree. Like, when we toured Selkirk's, like their R&D stuff is really impressive and it's really cool, but they still have the hurdle they have to jump of, they have to have 10,000 paddles at launch or whatever. They can't launch a 200 model
200
paddles, see how it does, and then order more. They have to make much bigger commitments. And it's just a challenge bigger brands have to face where people like Honolulu are churning out new models,
sweet new
every
models.
other month. It seems like until something lands. And then when something lands, then they double down on it, right? And so in some ways, smaller brands have an advantage at this stage of the market where the market isn't super mature, right? Anyways, there's give and takes for both sizes, pros and cons each. But yeah, that's my thoughts there. Let us know what you think. Am I wrong? Are we wrong?
They're gonna be like,
Tell us if we're wrong.
Braydon, you're an idiot. Get the pitchforks out.
All right, let's talk Solase shoes.
Yeah.
So this brand is called Solase. This is a pickleball shoe. I forget the gal's name. I should have wrote it down. Christina. Okay, so she messages us, and it seems like a lot of people got these. She was kind of making the rounds and sent some pairs for everyone to go sample. Anyways, her shtick is it's a high top, more ankle support, more of like a basketball shoe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I saw it.
Like,
I was like, oh man, these kind of look like basketball shoes.
So what were your thoughts on the Solase shoe?
It played lighter than I imagined it would.
I agree. I
thought, like when I pulled it out, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be heavy. I'm like, oh, it's not that heavy. Played lighter, tons of support, which at first was kind of weird. I'm not used to that much support.
Just around the ankle?
Yeah, around the ankle. It's nice though, but at first I was like, oh man, there's like a lot of like stability there.
Yeah.
They look great. The only question I have is we'll see how durability is, because they're a very small brand. They're brand new. They did a Kickstarter. They don't have like the 6 months sole warranty like some of the bigger brands can do. So that's my only question is durability. But comfort wise, it was super comfortable. They played a lot lighter than I imagined they would, and they're very supportive. Honestly, for her first shoe, I think they absolutely crushed the first shoe.
Yeah, and I think it's fun that they did something different.
Yeah.
There's, you have New Balance that has their Coco Goffs that have the high tops, but they're the only court shoe that have a high top like this. And I think with pickleball versus, say, tennis, a high top makes more sense. Yeah. Yes, there's quick movements, but there's more, a little more jarring forward, back, more like basketball style movements versus tennis, which you have a little more time to kind of set up, move, shift. Although it's also very quick, obviously. So having a little more ankle support, I think makes sense. I did some research on high tops. Like, does this actually support your ankle better? And there's no studies that show that this actually prevents.
So it's just like a placebo effect of feeling like you're supported?
You do feel more material around your ankle. And there's definitely, I feel more comfortable. I feel more supported. So that there's the mental placebo element of it. And it actually mentioned that even in basketball, a lot of players prefer high tops for that reason because it makes them feel more comfortable.
You just feel more stable.
You feel more stable, even if it's all in your head. And so I thought that was interesting because you do feel the extra material around here. It does feel like there's something around your ankle. I do wish they had like a runner's knot here.
Oh, okay.
To tighten up that just a little bit more. The shoe is very low to the ground.
Yeah.
You can feel the court really well when you're shifting and moving.
So you liked that because I know like the Frank Works where they were too high.
Yeah. I think for court shoes, it's better to have something lower to the ground where you can feel the court, be a part of the court better. And I think that enables quick shifts in direction. And so I do like that. There's not a ton of cushioning in the bottom. It's pretty thin compared to a lot of other shoes I played. And so you kind of have that extra court feel, but it's not over cushioned down here. It's more of the cushion around the ankle that you feel. And then, I had the same lightweight thought. The width wise, it's probably...
Was it too wide for you?
No, okay. It was actually, it fit fine width wise, but it's like taller. Does that make sense? Like the toe box was maybe a little taller through the front foot. Like the material was a little... So you see how tight I had to...
Crank down your toes.
I had to really crank down the laces because it was just tall.
Braydon's got small toes.
It wasn't wide. Because usually I'll have an issue with
the width.
Width sometimes. I didn't have an issue with width. I did have to.
So you felt like you could like lift your toes too much, kind of.
Yeah, it just wasn't a super good lockdown until I just over tightened it, and you can.
Yeah, I can see that you tightened it down.
Like it's a little extra material there, but yeah, I thought it moved well. It felt comfortable. I actually like the high top, even if it is placebo. It feels comfortable.
It does.
And
it feels good. No, it feels good.
And I think they look great.
And I pulled them out and was like, dang, those look good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fun fact, the first pair sold with an affiliate code was mine.
Up top. That's what I'm talking about.
Somebody,
Get it.
And it was somebody local.
Boom. Yeah. I think these are a good option. And I should have wrote down the price. They're not bad.
No, and I think they just went up. They were honestly, was it last week? If you used a code, they were like $92.
Yeah.
Which I can't get into court shoes for under $150 nowadays. It feels like.
So they did bump it up.
So I think they did because that was like their early price, but I don't think it goes. I don't think it went up a lot.
Yeah, nice. Well, I did end up setting up a code with them too, because I do like what they did. You know, I wore it multiple times. I didn't just put them down after I wore them.
I'm wearing them. Like I took my heads and put them at my house.
Oh, did you? These are like the shoe?
And I've got this. Yeah, for now. Cool, because I really want to test the durability, because that's my only question.
Yeah.
Just a new brand. So.
I mean, if it's held up after a week, it's usually actually a good sign.
That's true.
I've had shoes that will
just fall apart.
Rub through, fall apart pretty quick. But no, yeah, I ended up setting up a code with them too, so you can use the code PB Effect. It'll probably put it right around $100, so it's a pretty good price. But it'll be fun to see what they keep coming up with, and that's for a very first shoe. It's a really good entry into the market. I thought they did a good job. Okay, let's talk paddles, or do you have any other thoughts there?
No, we're good.
All right,
paddle it up.
I'm just gonna list off dates and upcoming paddles that I'll be testing. So these, I haven't hit very many of these, hardly any of them actually, just because I've been doing J2NF, some other stuff, trying to catch up from before, hitting the eras and stuff. But these are all ones that are on the docket. So I have the Bantam Hybrid. This is their GTO-C. This was released today. I have not hit it. I'll go hit it.
I haven't hit them yet either. I have them.
I got a stack. We'll just kind of show these off as we go. You do have them though?
I do have them.
Yep. So this is the GTO. I love to see more legacy, bigger brands adopt this hybrid shape. We're obviously big fans of hybrid, and we're starting to see it more. We have another one in here that's a hybrid from a bigger brand. But yeah, the big difference between this and others is weight. So the swing weights of this one is a 118 and 117 for the 12.7 and the 14.3. The ALW Bantam's extremely light. The TKO-Cs are all on the lighter end, but they intentionally made these heavier. I haven't x-rayed these. Presumably they're doing the bead thing somewhere on here that made these a little bit heavier, but this is a true hybrid, super steep neck, but it still has strong twist weight measurements. I imagine that's going to be inflated due to the beads. Yeah. The twist weight will be inflated. The sweet spots on all the other Bantams are definitely on the smaller side. I imagine this, and they also have higher twist weights.
Yeah.
This is kind of the one paddle out there that's where the twist weight just doesn't line up with the sweet spot measurement, but maybe it's better on these than the others. But these are on the heavier side. They said these are meant to be a little more playable out of the box, but I'll be hitting these this week. Next one are the Avouras. I don't know if I grabbed these. So Avoura, you were a fan of the wide body.
So the Rhapsody was the first one. Yeah, I liked the way it played. The shape wasn't for me, and I was like, man, I would really love this in like an elongated. And boom, they came out with an elongated and a hybrid.
So they're launching a hybrid and elongated. Another brand coming out with a hybrid, making it. I mean, it's already mainstream, but it needs to be every brand.
And they're making them. These are made in the U.S. in California. They're a Gen 1 paddle. Their technology is basically a weighted gel that they're using around the side to bump up that perimeter weighting to give it a much bigger sweet spot. And they are forgiving. Like the elongated, the Revea, it's got more power than the Rhapsody did, which is what I wanted. And it's still very forgiving for an elongated.
Yeah, so those come out July 8th. I've only hit those against the wall and just doing like wall drills in my garage. You've played these. I haven't played games with them. So tell me if I'm right or wrong here. But when I was just hitting them against the wall, I felt a lot of vibrations near the tip. Like a lot of the weight they put on it is in the bottom corners and the neck. And the tip of the paddle just felt pretty twisty and vibrating.
Okay.
Did you get that?
I weighted mine up, so I'm trying to, I don't know if I hit.
I wonder if they need to be weighted more.
Yeah, so I hit it. I played one game without weight and I instantly put weight on it. And then it was.
Okay. So you probably had some sort of sense for that on the weight, because I haven't weighted them. But maybe they play, maybe that gets reduced with some weight. But yeah.
There's kind of an argument over whether it's a power paddle or an all court. And one of the reviewers says it's like a power paddle.
What do you say?
I say if it's a power paddle, I haven't seen numbers, so I'm going to go off how I feel, like how it plays. I would say very low end power or very high end all court on the elongated.
Because I didn't think the Rhapsody.
No, the Rhapsody was control. No, the Rhapsody didn't. That's what I'm saying. The elongated.
Why would these have more?
I don't know.
I mean, it's the same paddle, just
it's the
longer.
shape's different, and it slaps harder. I promise.
I mean, elongated is going to hit harder than a wide body. When you have the same model as two shapes, the elongated isn't going to hit harder. But it's usually not enough to
it's being compared
shift categories.
It's being compared to the TKO.
No.
Not by me, but that's somebody is comparing it to the TKO.
I guess I can't say anything.
So I want to.
haven't
That's
really
what I'm saying.
hit them,
I'm
but I'd be
excited for you.
surprised.
I'm excited for you to test it because I want to see the numbers. Because I'm like, it doesn't feel like a TKO, but it doesn't feel as control oriented as the Rhapsody did at all either, though.
Okay.
So-
All right. Well, maybe that one will surprise me. Next one is the Body Helix Flick. This comes out July 15th.
Kyle's favorite thing to say: the best paddle that Body Helix has ever made.
But I think it's beyond that.
Yeah.
I think this one, so I gave this to my dad. I took this to Utah intending to play because I wanted to get some first impression thoughts. I didn't get a chance to play with it, but my dad did play. He hit it.
What'd he say?
And so it looks like it's used. I don't value his opinion at all, so I'm not going to tell you what he said. But that's why it looks a little worn. But I haven't hit this. So this is a foam paddle. It's got cutouts, kind of like a checkers board a little bit, little circles, and then it does have a little fiberglass square similar to the carbon fiber one, or the carbon true foam. So another element that was mimicked from other brands. Like it's just so prevalent. Like iterations, changing it's how things move forward. Like you take ideas from others and you change it and try to improve it, right?
You remix it. And,
that's what creativity is. I think.
Oh yeah.
Not too often you just get things out of the blue. Anyways, this is one I'm excited about. I haven't hit it yet, but I am pumped about it. I know you've played it. Do you have first impressions?
Oh, it's great. It hits. So the unapproved, did you hit the unapproved version?
For 2 seconds and then set it down because it was so juicy.
Yeah, the unapproved version hit absolute rockets. This hits more like baby missiles. Like it's
But still missiles.
But still missile. No, it slaps. It plays great. It's got good control. I'm a handle snob. I like Body Helix's handles. I don't know where he models those after, but I've always liked their handles. It plays really well. I think this is going to be their winning paddle. They were due for a hit, and I think this is going to be the hit.
Yeah, so this comes out July 15th. The numbers on it look good too. So this is elongated. I believe they're only launching with an elongated at the start. This is 16 millimeters. Has a swing weight of 114 and a twist weight of 6.07. So to keep the twist weight above 6 with that low of a swing weight and elongated is a good sign. So I imagine you can definitely customize this, get this in the sweet spot in a good place. But yeah, I from stuff I've read, talking to you a little bit about it, definitely a power paddle.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's another
without a doubt a power paddle.
It's another foam option that could be really good. I want to say they're going to sell it around $200.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's what I'm interested in. We'll be hitting soon. That's July 15th. Next one is the Pickleball Apes Harmonies. I didn't snatch that one. That comes out July 21st. So these are another Gen 3 style, but very different. It doesn't have the horseshoe foam. Okay. It doesn't have a floating core. They're just putting foam on the 4 corners.
Oh, interesting.
Like individual foam units. So I'm interested in those ones. Those could be good. Those are July 21st. July 22nd are the Groove and Laser solid foams, which we've talked about. And then shooting for the end of July, if they get stock in time, are the Vatic Pros.
The V-Core?
The V-Core. These, I haven't opened this up yet.
I did not get one of these, but...
These just came into the door while I was out of town this weekend.
Ooh,
a lot of these paddles did. But this is the Vatic Pro V-Core. From their promo video, the core looks very similar to the Body Helix
right?
Flick.
Yeah.
And so another full foam core,
but
coming
$99.
$99.
That's insane.
Super insane. Vatic Pro was starting to creep up their prices than the other ones, and now they're like, we need another banger.
He's like, let's go back.
He's
like, let's go back to what made us big.
The Prism is still their number one seller at $99. I think they're trying to go back to the roots there.
Yeah.
But yeah, another full foam. It has the cutouts and the kind of the square style with. Actually, I don't know if it has the fiberglass.
I don't either
or not. But
if it has all that same technology at $99, so that's wild.
Yeah, another one I need to go hit and get a feel for. Foam just coming out right now.
Did they kind of do like a matte edge guard? That kind of looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's different.
Nice. But yeah, they're going to launch that in all 3 shapes, all their handle lengths. They're just going all in.
So they're going to do the Bloom. They're
doing Bloom, Prism, Bloom, Flash, and V7. And then they have 2 handle lengths for the Flash and the V7. So those are shooting for end of July. And then we have the Carbon TFG4.
I have never gotten so many messages when all I did was post the edge guard.
Oh really?
Everybody's like, is that the 4? Is that the 4?
Yeah. So this is another one that came in while I was out this weekend. So I haven't hit it. I haven't took the plastic off yet. But this is a hybrid shape. Has a little rounded top, not super steep down here at the throat. but it's lighter.
I haven't played it yet.
You haven't played it, but you got it.
But I got it.
It does feel lighter just hanging it here. And so,
do you remember the marketing jargon for the top? The arrow something top?
Yeah, I don't know. Arrow curve.
Curve. Yeah, there you go.
That's what people have been calling. I think that's kind of the general name for the top. If it's curved like that, like it's a hybrid paddle with an arrow curve.
There you go.
Is I think how people describe. At least that's how I describe it. But yeah, they're launching with the hybrid. Everyone was like, man, this Genesis series would play great in a hybrid, and they said okay. So they went and made one, and happy and proud of them for doing that.
People are very excited for it too.
And it's lighter. So they kind of took two elements of feedback. One was their other paddles were on the heavier side.
Oh yeah.
And they wanted a hybrid, and I think they delivered on both here.
And that's why I'm excited to hit it because it's lighter and it's the hybrid. It could actually play significantly different than the other ones.
It could.
So
plus they improved their handles. I feel that.
Oh, did they change?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it used to be on the thinner side and a little squishy.
Thicker.
Now they made it a little thicker,
and it's
more
stiff,
sturdy.
Yeah.
So they fixed their handles because their handles weren't great on their other ones, which was a small complaint that a lot of people had. Like, hey, I'm spending $280 on this paddle. Give me a good handle, please. And so they did. And that'll be the same handle that goes across the board for all their stuff. Next one is the 11624 Alpha Pro Series. This is late July, early August, I believe, is when these came in over the weekend. I haven't hit these. I need to read up on these, but maybe you can. I don't have that. I think the construction's basically the same. Somebody said they play essentially the same, but there's more dwell. I haven't had a chance to hit them yet. From what I recall is it's the same or similar design, but with larger honeycomb cells. Okay. Is what I'm thinking it is. I will double check and we'll report on this paddle more later. But yeah, so this is the Alpha Pro Series from 11624 that they're already iterating off of their Power Series like we talked about. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to stay ahead of the curve there. I haven't seen too many early impressions on it. No, I've talked to one person and they said the Pegasus was the best out of all three, which was surprising to me. Because I liked the other two more. No, me too. That's what I was saying. They were like, and they said on the previous model they did two, but on this model they said the Pegasus has more pop, I guess. So okay, interesting. Last paddle is the Gearbox GX2 Power. These are going to release August 7th. So this is the elongated. They're going to launch with an elongated. Geez, you got it early. Wide body. Lots of time. They're starting to send. Yeah, they sent these out early, which is great. I have seen some early reports that this thing rips. Yeah. So it's got a similar core design as their other GX2, but it doesn't feel overly muted. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It has quite a bit of feedback. Oh, fun. It definitely feels lighter, which is a positive, and the twist weights and the numbers on it look better than other gearboxes. This is of the bunch here, the ones I'm going to go try first and I'm most interested in getting a feel for is this one. I want to go see if the Vatic Pros V-Cores, if that thing's solid at $100. Yeah. I'm really interested in that. Honestly, if the Vatic is a good paddle, that could be like the budget paddle of the year at $99. Right. And then I want to see how that body Helix plays. And then all of these. Yeah, there's a lot. These are all paddles I want to go try. July's a good month for paddles. There's a lot right now, and so, well, my July paddle blitz might be an hour 12. Long. Let me discuss these 12 paddles that came out this month. All right, then we're gonna finish with paddle fitting of the week. So here's our question here. For the past year, I've been playing with the Carbon 1X 14mm. I tried the Ben Johns Perseus Pro 4 and felt like I was a better player with it. But I don't want to spend that much money. What would you recommend instead? Paddles that came to mind are the Selkirk eras. Yep. You're not going to get quite as much offense as the Pro 4s, but you're not far off. I think if you're looking for the best... you're going to save $80. You're going to save $80. Plays very close. You're going to get a year the same warranty. Same warranty. You're going to be very close. Yeah. Next option I had was the Franklin C45s. Great option. After code, these are about $200. Yep. Weighted up, you're going to get pretty close to the power level as the JOOLAs. Plus, improved feel, which I like. And then, of course, you have the 11624 powers if you want a more budget friendly, not quite as powerful, but same ballpark, $160. Last option you have is the Friday Fever. This one weighted up. Gives you pretty good power, though it's still going to be under the Pro 4s. But if you don't want to spend over $100, that's your option. The Fever's $99, right? The Fevers are $99, yeah. Okay. Any others that come to mind for you?
Oh man, those are all good. Unless you're gonna make the jump to foam, which you might not be ready for if he likes the Pro 4. I think those are the most. Those make the most sense. I would probably go the Era. If the Pro 4 is what you liked the best, I would probably go with an Era.
Yeah, I agree. If you're willing to spend $200, go with that. Otherwise, you have these cheaper options that kind of are tiered down. But yeah, Eras and Franklin's are probably my two favorite playability wise out of that bunch. But then you have the budget friendly options there. But there you go. That's our paddle fitting of the week. That's episode 85. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have you ran yet today?
I worked out at 6 a.m. and then I went for a 3-mile vested walk. I got a tattoo on my leg yesterday, so I didn't run today.
Let's talk about that one next week because that's a cool tattoo and is super meaningful. So, but yeah, I need to go work out still. You got yours done. I'm horrible at the mornings, but anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in. Use code I love Kyle at Pickleball Effect Shop for 30% off all the stuff. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.